What are the fans going to expect on October the 2nd?
I think the opportunity for hockey fans here in Belfast, and just sporting fans, even if you've never seen a hockey game, to see one of the most historic franchises in the National Hockey League, the Boston Bruins, face off against a local club, Belfast Giants. I think it's going to be a wonderful sporting spectacle, great night for hockey, probably an opportunity to really raise the bar in terms of professional hockey standards and interests in Belfast.
These are NHL superstars. This isn't a second or a third choice team or an AHL team. I mean, these are top dollar players.
That's correct. Bruins, as I said, an original franchise in the National Hockey League, and they will be finishing their training camp here in Belfast, and then they'll play 2 exhibitions before beginning the regular season, playing 2 games in Prague in the Czech Republic. So this is one of 2 exhibitions they'll play. They'll have trimmed down their roster essentially to the final roster that'll make the team. So this is a premier team in the premier league in the world.
So how did this happen? Did the Boston Bruins come into the Odyssey?
I started talking to the Giants manager, Todd Kelman, about 9 months ago. And Todd, as I think a lot of people know, has been extremely committed to building this sport in Belfast, and hockey has played a very important role in the sporting community in Belfast over the last decade. And we followed that story, and when Todd had the vision to bring an NHL team over to play his club, we thought that was very interesting, but frankly we're a bit skeptical as to whether or not it could come together, because we know the relative strength of the sport in this market. We know it's a new and emerging sport, generally speaking. And we had already slated to bring the Bruins over, and the more we started to think about it, given that Boston has such a wonderful Irish-American heritage, we thought it would be a really unique opportunity and time to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the club here in Belfast and bring them together with an original 6 NHL team from Boston. And so Todd was able to pull together both private and public sector partners to bring this event into Belfast.
This is the end of the Bruins pre-season. You said they're going to play 2 exhibition games. These guys are going to be going at us full tilt in the Odyssey on the 2nd of October.
They are, and one of the things that we considered as we were pulling together the plans for this game is to be sure that we would have a competitive game, knowing that the team is preparing for their final couple of days of training camp and heading into the regular season. We have pulled together some of the best players from the UK Elite League to join the Belfast Giants under the heading Belfast Giants Select. So we will have truly an all-star team of UK Elite League players facing off against the Bruins. The Bruins were a playoff team last year. In the history of the club, they've won 5 Stanley Cup championships, and are definitely heading into this season one of the top teams in the league. So I think from a competitive standpoint, you'll see a good game, and I think as well an historic event for Belfast in bringing, for the first time ever, an NHL club into the market. I've been bringing NHL clubs to Europe for 15 years as an executive with the National Hockey League. The facility is first class, great hockey building, intimate from a player's perspective. You have first class professional dressing rooms and training facilities, and we believe the team will feel right at home, and the Giants have been very accommodating in making sure that all the needs of the club are met. We've got 13 dates that we're playing in Europe, 6 NHL clubs, Bruins being one of the 6 coming over. And so from an operational standpoint, we have travel and logistical issues, and from a hockey standpoint, we have officiating and ice, boards, glass, and other operational issues that we deal with. NHL standards are slightly different, so we're working with the European clubs, including the Giants, to make sure that the standards and the operational requirements are met, and that we can produce this event and play these games at the highest level.
So the fans that are in the rink on the October the 2nd are guaranteed a great night's entertainment?
I'd like to think so. I have seen a number of great NHL matches played in Europe. Some of the friendlies are some of the best games because the fans come with a real rooting interest and want to see. The expectation, of course, is that the NHL club is going to come in bigger, stronger, and the stakes are quite high. And so we've seen the European clubs oftentimes come in and perform at the highest level. And last year we even were beaten twice in the series, once down in Zurich and one up in Tampere in Finland. So the organization at the league and the club level have been very focused on pulling this team together. I think they're scheduled to make some announcements in the coming days and weeks on who will be on that roster, and probably a good mix of Giants and other players from around the league. So I expect that once that team is announced, the speculation will begin. Once the Bruins get back into camp and they finalize their roster, we can start to really focus on who's coming and what that competition should look like. But I think it's good speculation, and I think, again, based on prior experience with NHL friendlies in Europe, you should see a great game.